Hey everyone, this is Paris, and I'm back with another video, and this time we're gonna do a review for the Nvidia RTX 3080 Ti GPU. I wanna thank Nvidia for this opportunity to review this card, and I do apologize, I did not have this out initially at review, but unfortunately I was out of town when the sample arrived, so I had to wait till I got back home so I could actually interact with it. So what I wanna do in this review, I'm gonna do it a little differently. I'm not gonna have a bunch of gameplay in here and all this because I think it's important to just talk about this card and where it sits just in the realm of advanced, these brand new GPUs that are on the market right now. Last year, obviously, Nvidia sent over the 3080. I'm gonna do a lot of comparisons to that, and I will also do some comparisons to the RTX 3090 as well. So as for the card itself, here it is. Let's see if we can get that into some good focus so you can see. This is the RTX 3080 Ti. So just so you can see, there's the back, kind of on the side here. Flip that around so you can see. But yes, this is the 3080 Ti. And it might look very familiar to you because, as I put this down, here's the 3080. Let that get into focus really quick. So that's the 3080. As you can see, pretty identical, these two cards. Let's see, I will put these both up for comparison, just so you can see there's the Ti, there's the 3080. I mean, these cards are pretty identical. I mean, they are. I would say the 3080 Ti weighs slightly more, and there may be a good reason for that, but let's just get the spec stuff out of the way as far as the comparisons go. So the RTX 3080 is 10 gigabytes of RAM, and the 3080 Ti is 12 gigabytes of RAM, and the 3090, which also factors into this comparison, is 24 gigabytes of RAM. When we look at the RT cores, there's 68 on the 3080, we're looking at 80 on the 3080 Ti, and there's 82 on the 3090. And then when you look at the CUDA cores, we're looking at about 8700 on the 3080, we're looking at about 10,200 on the 3080 Ti, and then we're looking about 10,400 on the 3090. And then here's the big kicker here, price. So the 3080 is $700, $699. The 3080 Ti is $1199, and the 3090 is $1499. And all of this is pretty important when we really want to break down this card. So I actually want to talk about just some of the games that I got to play with the 3080 Ti, just so people can kind of understand performance-wise what we're looking at and why, again, this price factor is so important here. So I did a comparison with the 3080 and the 3080 Ti. I played Destiny 2, I played Gears 5 Hive Busters. I wanted to also check out DLSS and ray tracing. So I played Cyberpunk 2077, I played Control, and I also checked out Minecraft as well, because I wanted to get a nice comparison of some games that I knew would use some system resources that I have seen a little bit of struggle with frame rate without DLSS, with DLSS on, with ray tracing on, as an example. And here's the thing, the 3080 was already great when it came to that, especially when you paired it with DLSS. And DLSS is kind of the AI tech that Nvidia has built in to basically increase performance on these cards, where you can basically play a game at, say you want to play it at 4K, where you can actually have the game render at, let's say, 1440p. DLSS will basically upscale it to 4K, allows you to then incorporate ray tracing into it. You're going to get higher frames, etc. So while the actual native resolution is lower, you know, it's going to upscale that to the higher resolution, and it's going to increase performance. Or even if you wanted to keep it at 1440p as an example, but you just wanted to get more frames, that also works as well. We've talked about DLSS in the past. It's fantastic. Obviously, we've seen what Nvidia has done with ray tracing, again, on a game like Cyberpunk 2077. Think what you may about the game itself, but it is visually stunning. Again, this is why I wanted to play Destiny 2, why I also wanted to play Gears 5 Hive Busters, because these are visually impressive games that I'm able to play at a high frame rate using the 3080. So when you bring the 3080 Ti into it, I'm really only seeing about, on average, about a 10% performance increase. And that actually is very comparable to a 3090 in the same scenario. For all intents and purposes, the 3080 Ti, let's see if I can just grab the card again so you guys can get the visual. The 3080 Ti, for all intents and purposes, is a 3090. We basically just cut the DDR RAM in half from 24 to 12, and they've lowered the price slightly, but performance-wise, pretty much the same. From what I've been able to see and gather in my own personal testing. But then again, I bring the 3080 back into this conversation because, like I said, I am able to play these games, especially coupled with DLSS, at a high frame rate, at a high resolution, and sure, I'm getting a little bit more performance increase going to a 3080 Ti, but does it really matter enough that I'm going to now invest $1,200 versus $700? This is kind of the primary thing that I look at right now when I think about these two cards. Again, I'll just show you the 3080 Ti again, just so you guys can see it, you know, as an example. But I have a very hard time recommending the RTX 3080 Ti on price alone. I mean, look, I get it. We're in a world right now where there's a lot of shortages. These cards are very hard to get. Again, I'm very thankful to Nvidia for allowing me the opportunity to not only review the 3080 Ti last year, but to review the 3080 Ti this year. And I get it, they're a luxury item, but I also think I have a responsibility when I talk about these cards to say, look, you can go, if you can get it at retail, I get it. The scalpers, it's ridiculous, I get it. But I cannot sit here with good conscience and tell someone to run out and go get an RTX 3080 Ti at $1,200 when you're pretty much going to get the same performance from an RTX 3080 and you're going to save $500. That's just the reality of this. Again, the card itself is amazing. Like I said, you're pretty much getting 3090 performance out of a 3080 Ti. But even going back to last year when we were comparing the 3080 and the 3090, I would have told people just go get the 3080 because the 3080 is good enough. You're going to get the frames and the resolution and the ray tracing that RTX provides. You're going to get all of that, especially, I know it sounds like a sales pitch when you couple it with DLSS, because I've seen DLSS, you know, firsthand. It's fantastic. Outriders is actually another game that I played a little bit in comparison, same scenario. Performance wise, I only saw maybe, like I said, 5 to 10% performance increase from a 3080 to a 3080 Ti. But again, $699 versus $1,199. Do the math. And it really just comes down to this. What is the value that you're getting out of a 3080 Ti compared to a 3080? I still say the 3080 is the better value. And this is nothing against the 3080 Ti itself. It's fantastic. If you have one, you are absolutely going to love it. Your games are going to look great. They're going to perform great. You're going to be able to have all the bells and whistles enabled, play it at high frames, play it at high resolution. And again, if it has ray tracing, you're going to be able to do that as well. So I absolutely love the card. I just don't love the price. I almost feel like it's almost a thing. I don't want to say shame on you, Nvidia, because I understand how businesses work and I get where the market currently is, but yeah, kind of shame on you, Nvidia, for charging $1,200 for this card, because I think there was some value there. Even if it was $999, I feel like that would be a lot more justified versus price versus performance compared to the 3080 card. And I get, we may get to a point in the future where you're gonna need those 2 extra gigabytes of DDR RAM in that 3080 Ti compared to the 3080, but we're not there today. And you put this card out today. And if I'm a consumer looking to get a graphics card, again, if you want the best of the best of the best, and your wallet is unlimited, you're probably going to go look at a 3090, then you're going to go look at a 3080 Ti. But if you're looking for the best value, it's still the RTX 3080. It just is. Again, I'll show you the card. This is what I'm telling you. These cards are virtually identical. I mean, you know, as far as even the plug, everything, the cooler, all of this identical, the 3080 versus the 3080 Ti. You're going to get a little more performance out of the 3080 Ti, but your wallet is not going to like the price that you have to pay to get it. And I think that's my review. I do. I wanted to do this a little different because I just want to have an honest conversation about this. Again, this card was provided to me by Nvidia. I do want to thank Nvidia Geforce for the opportunity to review the RTX 3080 Ti. I'll talk about this more on Gamertag Radio. This won't be the end of my conversations, but I wanted to get this out here because I do have a problem with the price point. I think the card is too much. I think this probably should have been a $1,000 card instead of a $1,200 card versus the type of performance that you're gonna get out of it compared to their 3080, which in my opinion is a great value at $699. So once again, this is the RTX 3080 Ti from Nvidia. I want to thank Nvidia for this opportunity to review this card. This is Paris. Thank you guys for checking out this review. Leave a comment, let me know what you think, and I'll see you on the next one.